In today's world, talent alone is not enough. Intelligence alone is not enough. Degrees and credentials are not enough. The market is flooded with smart people, skilled people, educated people, and still many of them are stuck. Still, they haven't broken through. Why? Because the fire is missing. The obsessioner, you got to be hungry, not kind of interested, not casually committed, not doing it when you feel like it. You need a level of drive that borders obsession, a burning inside that won't let you sit still, a kind of restlessness that whispers to you in quiet moments, there's more in you. People who thrive in today's world are those who are hungry. Not for comfort, not for attention, but for growth, for progress, for the next level. They don't have to be told to work harder. They don't have to be pushed. Hunger pulls them. They wake up earlier, stay up later, and keep going even when it doesn't make sense to others. Because they've made a decision, they refuse to be average. That hunger gives you vision. When other people see obstacles, you see openings. Where others complain, you create. Hunger keeps you resourceful when you're broke. It keeps you grinding when you're tired. It keeps you learning when everyone else thinks they've already arrived. Because deep down, you haven't even scratched the surface yet. Hunger will push you through every wall. When doors are slammed in your face, hunger will keep you knocking. When people laugh at your dreams, hunger will keep you moving. Hunger doesn't care if you're qualified. Hunger doesn't care if you're the most talented. Hunger makes you dangerous because it gives you stamina, and in a world where most people quit when it gets hard, that stamina is a superpower. Think about the most successful people you know. Not the lucky ones, not the ones who inherited something, but the ones who built something from scratch, from nothing. What separates them is not their background. It's not luck. It's hunger. They had a reason so strong, a why so deep that it pulled them through pain, rejection, bankruptcy, humiliation, and years of being overlooked. But they kept showing up, kept knocking on doors, kept preparing because they were hungry. Hunger gives you an identity. It transforms the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you show up in a room. You no longer seek permission to pursue your calling. You no longer wait for people to validate your vision. Hungry people don't need approval. They need oxygen. They need progress. They move like their life depends on it, because in many ways it does. In this world of distractions, ease, and instant gratification, staying hungry is a rare discipline. You're constantly being offered comfort, quick wins, the path of least resistance. But if you accept that, you're starving your potential. Comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Hunger is what keeps you uncomfortable on purpose. It's what tells you, don't settle here. There's more in you. It doesn't matter what your past looks like. It doesn't matter who doubted you, who left, who told you that you were nothing. None of that defines your ceiling, unless you let it. Hunger breaks ceilings. It ignores statistics. It rewrites the rules. It says, I'm coming for everything they said I couldn't have. And then it goes to work. When you're hungry, you don't look for guarantees. You don't ask, is it safe? You ask, is it worth it? Because to the hungry, the risk of staying average is far greater than the risk of failing. Hunger redefines what you think is possible. It stretches your limits. It forces you to grow into the person who can carry the weight of your dreams. You can learn the skills, you can get the tools, you can build the strategy. But without hunger, you'll quit when it gets hard, and it will get hard. That's the world we live in. It's not designed for the passive. It's built for the persistent. Those who want it bad enough to fight for it. Not once, but every day. Fear is not the enemy. In fact, In today's world, fear is your greatest compass. It's the signal that something meaningful is on the other side. It's the alarm that tells you're getting close to the edge of your comfort zone. And if you want to grow, evolve, or achieve anything that matters, that's exactly where you need to be. The problem is that most people run from it. They treat fear like it's a stop sign, when in reality, it's an invitation. You have to rewire your response to fear, because thriving in this world doesn't belong to those who avoid discomfort. It belongs to those who face it. Fear shows up when you're about to speak your truth. Fear shows up when you take a risk that might fail. Fear shows up when you step into unknown territory. And most people interpret that as a warning to back off. But those who thrive, they see fear and lean in. They run straight at it because they know what's behind it is freedom. Fear is never random. It's specific. It shows up exactly where you're being called to grow. If you're afraid of being seen, you need to step into visibility. If you're afraid of starting over, you need to let go of what's keeping you stuck. If you're afraid of failing, you need to take the shot anyway. Because the fear isn't there to stop you. It's there to train you. It's the weight room for your courage. You don't get stronger by avoiding the weight. You get stronger by lifting it. Fear makes you human. But how you respond to fear, that makes you powerful. It's not about having no fear. It's about refusing to let fear have the final say. People think confidence is the absence of fear. It's not. Confidence is the decision to move forward even when you're terrified, even when your hands are shaking, your voice is cracking, and every part of you wants to turn around and run. That decision is what separates leaders from followers, builders from talkers, and champions from spectators. There's no breakthrough without fear. That's why it shows up right before the moment that could change everything. That's why it shows up when you're about to level up. Your biggest breakthroughs are hiding behind your biggest fears. And if you keep turning away, you'll never find out what's waiting for you. You'll keep circling the same life year after year, wondering why nothing changes. It changes when you change, and fear is the pressure that makes that transformation possible. Fear also reveals what you truly want. You're not afraid of something that doesn't matter to you. You don't get scared of things you're indifferent about. Fear is attached to your calling. It rises up when you're close to something that matters deeply. That's why you feel it so strongly. It's not random. It's personal. And that means you have to take it seriously, not as something to shrink from, but as something to rise to. In today's world, fear is everywhere. Fear of missing out, fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of not being enough. The system is built to keep you afraid. That's how it controls you. But once you realize that fear can't kill you, that it's just a feeling, then you start to take your power back. You stop waiting for the fear to go away and you start acting in spite of it. That's when things begin to shift. That's when you start to break through limits that have held you for years. Running toward fear is not a one-time thing. It's a habit. It's a way of life. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you grow. You may not see the results right away, but something inside you gets stronger. Something inside you unlocks. And that's the kind of inner strength you need in this world. The kind that doesn't get shaken when things get hard. The kind that moves forward when most people freeze. The kind that runs toward the thing everyone else is avoiding. In today's world, your greatest asset is not your resume. It's not your connections. It's not your bank account. Your greatest asset is your mind. Your ability to think, focus, believe, and decide in a world designed to distract, overwhelm, and manipulate. If you're not actively protecting your mind, you're handing over the keys to your future. Because everything starts with thought. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. Your mind is under attack every single day. From the moment you wake up, you are bombarded with noise. Notifications, opinions, algorithms, ads, gossip, news, negativity. It's constant. And if you're not intentional about what you allow in, you will end up living someone else's script. You'll react instead of create. You'll doubt instead of decide. You'll fear instead of move. That's not just dangerous. That's the slow death of potential. Most people spend hours cleaning their homes, washing their cars, choosing the perfect outfit. But they let anything walk into their mind. They let toxic conversations linger. They scroll through garbage for hours. They surround themselves with people who drain their energy and then wonder why they're exhausted and uninspired. You have to guard your mind like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. You don't get to grow in a polluted environment. Just like a seed can't grow in poisoned soil, your mind can't grow in chaos. The quality of your thoughts is a direct result of the quality of your environment. What are you feeding your mind? What are you listening to? What are you reading, watching, repeating? If you're consuming fear, drama, and distraction all day long, you can't expect peace, clarity, or vision to suddenly show up. You have to curate your mental diet with discipline. The people you allow around you are a major part of this. Some people speak life into you. Others speak doubt, fear, and limitation. If someone constantly talks about what you can't do, what might go wrong, or how bad the world is, that's not a conversation, that's contamination. You can love people without giving them access to your headspace. Boundaries aren't about being cold, they're about being clear. You have to decide what kind of energy, mindset, and frequency you want to live at, and protect it relentlessly. Your mind is also shaped by repetition. The thoughts you think the most become beliefs. That means if you constantly say, I'm not good enough, I'm too late, it's too hard, then eventually you believe it. And once a belief is formed, your mind starts looking for evidence to confirm it. This is how people trap themselves in invisible prisons. Not because of reality, but because of repetition. If you want to change your life, start by changing the script you repeat every day. Silence is another weapon most people never use. In a noisy world, silence is power. Taking time to unplug, reflect, and think is not a luxury, it's survival. Clarity doesn't come when your mind is flooded. It comes when your mind is still. The most successful people don't just work hard. They think deeply. They make space to reconnect with their values, their goals, their truth. They don't chase everything. They move with intention because they've created mental space to think clearly. Protecting your mind also means confronting your own internal noise. Self-doubt, imposter syndrome, old programming. These things don't go away just because you're motivated. You have to do the inner work. You have to face those stories and challenge them, not with empty positivity, but with truth. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not what they said about you. You are what you decide to become every single day. Mental strength is built like muscle. Through repetition, pressure, and recovery. You have to train your focus like an athlete trains their body. Meditation, journaling, reading, learning. These are not trendy habits. They're tools for survival in an overstimulated world. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're building resilience. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your vision, you're reinforcing mental clarity. One of the biggest lies we're taught is that we need to wait until we feel ready. Wait until we have more experience. Wait until we're qualified. Wait until we've mastered every skill. But the truth is, readiness is a myth. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. Because it's not about being ready. It's about being willing. You have to say yes before you're ready and grow into what you said yes to. The people who rise, who lead, who create impact, they're not always the most prepared, the most polished, or the most perfect. They're the ones who step forward when it feels uncomfortable. They're the ones who hear the doubt in their head and still raise their hand. They're the ones who feel unqualified, but show up anyway. They don't wait to feel confident. They act their way into confidence. The world moves fast. Opportunities don't knock forever. Sometimes they don't even knock. They whisper. And if you hesitate too long, they move on to someone else. Someone less prepared, maybe, but more decisive. Saying yes is a signal. It's a declaration. It tells the world, and more importantly, it tells you that you're in, that you're choosing growth over comfort, that you're not waiting to be chosen. You're choosing yourself. Fear often disguises itself as logic. You start making excuses that sound smart. It's not the right time. I need more practice. Maybe after I finish this course. But underneath all that is fear. Fear of failing. Fear of being seen. Fear of not being enough. And fear always wants you to wait. It wants you to delay. It wants you to gather more evidence before you make a move. But the longer you wait, the louder the fear becomes. The way to quiet fear is through action. Saying yes before you're ready forces you to rise. It creates pressure. The right kind of pressure. The kind that activates your focus, your creativity, your courage. When you commit to something before you feel fully prepared, you unlock a part of yourself you didn't know existed. You tap into potential that comfort never could have reached. Because growth doesn't happen in certainty. It happens in motion. Think back to every major step you've ever taken. Were you completely ready? Or did you figure it out as you went? That first job, that first big decision, that moment you put yourself out there. Chances are you weren't fully prepared, but you did it anyway. And on the other side, you didn't just succeed. You became more capable because taking the step teaches you more than preparation ever could. This mindset is non-negotiable in today's world. Change is constant. The rules are shifting. The people who wait until they've mastered everything are getting left behind. The ones who thrive are agile. They're adaptive. They say yes and then figure it out on the way. They make bold moves, learn from the results, and keep evolving. That's how momentum is built. Not from perfection, but from participation. Saying yes before you're ready doesn't mean being reckless. It means trusting that you'll grow into the version of yourself who can handle it. It's not about pretending you know everything. It's about believing in your capacity to learn, to adjust, to rise. That's what builds real self-trust. Not theory, not waiting, but experience. And you only get that by stepping in. Opportunities don't ask for your resume first. They ask for your courage, your willingness. Doors don't swing open because you feel confident. They swing open because you knock. Sometimes with shaking hands, sometimes with a racing heart, but you knock anyway. You step in before you've memorized the script. You say yes to the stage before you know all your lines. And in doing so, you earn the right to grow. When you say yes before you're ready, you stretch yourself beyond who you were. You activate faith. You shift the way you see yourself. You stop identifying as someone waiting to begin, and you become someone who's already in the game. Every person walking this planet carries a story. Not just the highlight reel, not just the polished moments that make it to social media, but the real story, the scars, the failures, the battles no one saw, the quiet nights of doubt, The moments of rejection, heartbreak, and starting over. These aren't side notes in your life. These are the building blocks of your message. Because your life is not just something you survive. It's something you shape, something you live out loud, something that speaks. There is power in every struggle you've faced. Power in the moments where you felt like giving up, but didn't. Power in the things you thought would break you, but ended up building you. Those moments are not random. They are your material. They are your evidence. They are the reason someone else will believe it's possible. And the greatest way to honor what you've been through is not to hide it. It's to use it. Use your life as a message that says, I've been there. I came through. And so can you. This world is full of noise, but very little truth. We're surrounded by masks, filters, and projections of perfection. But people don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty. They connect with realness. And the most powerful thing you can do is to live in a way that reflects truth, not just talent. Authenticity isn't a strategy. It's a standard. It's the decision to stop pretending and start showing up as you are, scars and all. Your story doesn't need to be dramatic to be powerful. It just needs to be honest. Maybe you haven't climbed Mount Everest. Maybe you haven't survived the unthinkable. But you've faced storms that were real. You've endured things that shifted who you are. You've had to find your way in the dark. And someone out there is going through their own storm right now. Your story might be the light they've been searching for. Living as a message means refusing to be defined by your setbacks. It means refusing to be labeled by your past. It means taking what happened and turning it into purpose. You're not here just to exist. You're here to evolve, to turn your experiences into wisdom, to turn your pain into perspective, to walk through life not as someone trying to be impressive, but as someone willing to be impactful. There are people who are waiting for you to rise. People you may never meet. People who need to hear that it's possible to fall and get back up, to dream again after disappointment, to love again after betrayal, to fight again after failing. And they're not inspired by perfection. They're inspired by progress. They're moved by someone who walks with a limp, but still walks. Who doesn't pretend to have it all figured out, but refuses to quit anyway. Your life becomes a message the moment you stop hiding and start owning. Owning your voice, owning your value, owning your journey without shame. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment to share your story or live your truth. The value is in the process. The transformation is in the becoming. Every chapter matters, not just the polished parts. And the more you show up fully, the more you give others permission to do the same. This is not about being a speaker or a leader or an influencer. It's about how you live, how you carry yourself, and what energy you bring into the room. It's about the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you show resilience when no one is watching. That's what people remember. That's what leaves an imprint. You may never know who you've inspired simply by refusing to quit when you had every reason to. Making your life a message means living with intention. It means seeing every day as an opportunity to create impact, not just for yourself, but for everyone your life touches. It means choosing to live in alignment with what matters most. Integrity, courage, compassion, and purpose. It means recognizing that your existence is not random. Your experiences are not wasted, and your voice matters. The world we live in today demands more than survival. It demands boldness. It demands clarity. It demands courage. And if you want to thrive, not just exist, not just get by, but thrive, you must be willing to step into a new version of yourself. One that is driven by hunger. One that runs toward fear instead of away from it. One that fiercely protects the mind from the noise, distraction, and doubt that surround us every day. One that says yes before feeling ready, because growth begins where comfort ends. And above all, one that turns life into a message. Raw, real, and unshakable. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need to have it all figured out. What you need is commitment, discipline, vision, fire. Because the life you want isn't waiting for you. It's waiting on you. So stand up, step forward. Be the kind of person this world can't ignore. One who's hungry, fearless, focused, brave, and true. Let your life be the loudest message you ever deliver.